Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
So far, we're still waiting for one member, sir.
Okay.
Bali po, dalawa pa lang po kayo and the end user.
Okay. Sino yung isa? Si Elmer?
Opo, kayo pa lang po si Sir Elmer saka si Ian De Cruz.
Okay.
Nandiyan.
Raul Cusina. Dapat nandito si Arnel kasi opening ng project niya ta.
Sige sir, tawagan ko. Nasa meeting ako. Sige sir, tawagan ko.
Parehas tayo, nasa meeting din.
Sir Arnold, matagal na magbukas yung laptop kaya wait lang daw po.
Yung inside engineering.
Okay, good afternoon, Secretariat. Do you have the quorum?
Yes, good afternoon po, sir. Already have a quorum po, sir. Permission to proceed po.
Okay, the meeting is now called to order. So we start it with the prayer. Okay, proceed.
Okay, sir. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Our Father who art in heaven, holy be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Okay, good
Afternoon po.
afternoon, everyone. Kasi mayroong parallel meeting ito. So, okay, so Secretariat, please make a roll call.
Please acknowledge one name is called. Our chairperson, Engineer Arnold team.
Okay,
Attorney Caap.
Walang speaker kayo. Isa lang tayo.
To continue with the attendance, General Ernesto R. Milo, Engineer E. Gomez,
Present,
Arnold F. Barlado, our back TWG, our head, Attorney Edward G. Marty,
Present.
Engineer Raul R.
Present.
Engineer Michael Ilaga, Eva Lasatin, Engineer Joseph Joferand Refranca,
Present po.
Engineer Emmanuel C. Tolosa, Engineer Eduardo Moises Sakupon, Engineer Noel Ba-
Present.
and Mr. Kevin Mark Badua. For our secretariat, our overall head, Engineer Leandro R. Varquez, and the rest of the staff. Also our minister for today's Miss Catherine Piano. The end user for this project is Mr. Ian De La Cruz. Sir, permission to proceed with that.
About the end user for other project.
For the other projects, sir, ANS,
ADMS.
no, ADMS, sir, for the project, it is Ian, Mr. Engineer Ian De La Cruz.
Okay. Okay. So what is our agenda for today?
The first agenda is the submission and opening of bids for the project entitled Emergency Repair of Damaged Areas at Siquijor Airport due to Typhoon with bid number 008-05 Alpha with an ABC of 6,351,219 pesos, 64 centavos. This is the
Naputol.
sir, Putol.
Di namin narinig yung huli mong sinabi.
Okay. This is a project of DMS po.
Okay. Do we have a bidder for this project?
Sir?
Did somebody submit bid for this project?
Yes, I have one submission for this project by Quicksilver Construction Services.
Okay, so before the opening, kindly allow them to enter the room.
Yes, sir. Sir, we don't have a representative present here at the conference room, and
Okay. About online.
sir, we don't have also a representative online.
We don't have representative online also.
Yes, sir. Let me check first, sir, but we'll just validate it, sir, for a while po. Sir, yes, sir, we don't have a representative online and physically present also. We don't
Okay,
have.
so anyway, this activity is live streaming, so we could proceed with the opening of the bids. Okay, TWG, proceed.
The bid submission of Quicksilver Construction Services.
Uh,
This
so,
is just one document and it is sealed and properly labeled. Permission to proceed with the opening, sir.
proceed.
Inside the main envelope are two envelopes. The original eligibility legal technical component and the original financial component. The original eligibility legal technical component has tabbings, pagination, and signature on each page. Mr. Chair, may I request for 1 second, Mr. Chair? Naka-unmute. Not following instruction, page 1 of 1. Mr. Chair, we would like to put on record, Mr. Chair, that the submitted technical component of Quicksilver Construction, particularly on the pagination, it is not in accordance with our prescribed pagination, which is 1 out of 100, 2 out of 100. It only indicates page number of the document. And with that, Mr. Chair, the technical working group hereby recommends the disqualification of Quicksilver Construction for failure to comply the pagination requirements for consideration and approval, Mr. Chair.
Sayang. Okay, so there is no representative from the bidder. So, okay, we take note on the recommendation of TWG. Any comments from the members of the BAC?
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead. Well,
having said that, for not following, I move to adopt the recommendation of the technical working group to disqualify the bidder for not following the instruction on pagination.
okay, any second the motion?
Seconded, Mr. Chair.
Okay. With the recommendation of the TWG, and it was there's motion and seconded. Here the BAC hereby adopt the disqualification of the bidder for this project. So Secretariat, please do the advisory with regards to if they want to appeal on this disqualification, or they want to send that inside.
Yes, Mr. Chair, we will just prepare the letter disqualification to the bidder, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. So, okay, Secretariat, we proceed to the next agenda. Secretariat, what is the next agenda?
Open for the negotiation of the
Yes, sir. Next agenda po, sir, is for the negotiation for the project entitled Spare Parts for Thales Mono Secondary Surveillance Radar Nationwide
Okay.
with million. Sir.
Secretariat, excuse me, no? I forgot to consider the project of what to do with the project wherein the bidder is disqualified. So, TWG, any further recommendation on what to do on this project?
Mr. Chair, subject to the motion for reconsideration of the bidder Quicksilver, we also recommend, Mr. Chair, to have this project rebidded, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so about the failure of the project, failure of bidding.
Uh, Sir, considering that this is our first um, failure, we will just submit this project for rebidding, sir.
But we need to declare first that there is a failure of bidding, isn't it?
Yes, sir. At this point, sir, it is our position, sir, that we cannot just immediately declare the failure of bidding, sir, considering that there is this period for the bidder to file its motion for reconsideration, sir.
Okay, okay. So we'll wait if the bidder will file a motion for reconsideration, and then later on, maybe in the next meeting, we will declare failure or not. Okay, okay. Thank you. We proceed to the next agenda.
For the next project, Mr. Chair. We have here the submission from what bidder to? From Thales, Mr. Chair.
Is,
May
is
we
it,
request, Mr. Chair, the representative of Thales to be admitted or uh, to admitted to the conference room, Mr.
is it
Chair.
Thales? Is the bidder Thales or another company?
Mr. Chair, we have here the representative from Pacific Hemisphere Development Corporation. For records purposes, sir, can you identify yourself and the company you represent, please?
I'm Alexander Filian from
Paki-open lang isang microphone dyan para hindi mag-echo.
Sige po. Salita kayo. Salita kayo.
I'm Alexander Leanco from Pacific Hemisphere Development Corporation, sole distributor for Thales
Moises,
Cable
paki
Part.
para hindi magkaroon ng echo, paki-off yung isang microphone para kasi nagkaroon ng echo. Okay. One at a time lang. So again, Thales represent Pacific Hemisphere representative. Please identify yourself.
Patry po.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am Alexander Leanto from Pacific Hemisphere Development Corporation. Sole distributor for Thales spare parts for NSSR radar.
Okay, thank you. And this time we are negotiating with the representative.
Hello, off na.
Kaya nga pakipatay yung ibang microphone.
Ito naman. Okay na ba yun?
Okay. So we will be negotiating with a Thales representative, Pacific Hemisphere representative, STWG. Is that correct?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
So kindly ask the representative is
Ito ba yun?
to negotiate
Ito yun, diba?
the authority to negotiate with us, with the BAP.
Pwede i-off din na lang po muna yung ano.
Ano ba? Ayun, okay.
No. Kasi po. Yan. Okay.
Mr. Chair, permission to open the submission of Pacific Hemisphere, sir.
Okay, proceed.
Inside the submitted document, Mr. Chair, is a document in a bull clip containing
Okay, go ahead.
the requested document as indicated in the letter of the technical of the back secretariat, Mr. Chair. So, secretariat checklist, please.
Mayor's or business.
Business permit issued by the City of Makati, valid until December 31, 2022. Submitted.
Omnibus sworn state.
Omnibus sworn statement signed by Mr. Alexander Lianto, the bidder's representative, and it is also duly notarized. Submitted.
Latest income business tax return.
Annual income tax return of Pacific Hemisphere Development Corporation, stamped received by BIR, April 11, 2022. Submitted.
Computation of net financial contracting capacity NFCC.
NFCC of Pacific Hemisphere Development Corporation, in the amount of 5,136,454 pesos. Submitted.
Valid certificates of sole distributorship.
Certificate of distributorship issued to Pacific Hemisphere Development Corporation by Thales and signed by Mr. Nicolas de Figueroa, VP Sales of AMS Thales Las France SAS. The certificate also indicates that it is the sole distributor of the repairs and spare parts of Thales here in the Philippines. Submitted.
Technical specifications with compliance statement.
Technical specification. Yes, sir.
Can we also pay? I think it is based on the competitive bidding, which we cannot provide. There is no data to full understand. So only this the way we can do. This one is fully to like negotiate direct negotiation. Wala na natong technical rights. Dito naman sa financial requirements. And for the technical, we submitted
For financial requirements, original of duly signed and accomplished financial bid form.
Sir, this is a financial bid. 5 minutes.
yes.
Merong event may dalawa kasi bago yung bid. Hindi later.
Sir, meron po kayo itong original duly signed accomplished financial bid form? Price schedule form?
Wala din po kasi yung mga forms na yan, doon ang kinakikita sa bid documents yan.
No, we're...
Secretariat, may we request what is now what is ongoing now in the room, what is being done by the TWG?
Sir, sorry, sir. We're just verifying the document, sir. We're waiting for the end user to check the documents as well, sir.
Okay, thank you.
So for the financial bid, Mr. Chair, upon verification with the end user as well, they are compliant with the requirement, which are two double encoder with part number PN61114782, and the unit is pieces with two as quantity. The unit price is 2.5 million, and the total amount is 25 no, it's 5 million pesos inclusive of the value added tax, Mr. Chair.
Okay. The final offer is 5 million. Is that correct? TWG.
The previous submission we have. So when it is taken up that they only need two items, item number 6. So we have to give some discount for that one. As per calculating later, we have the discounted price.
Mr. Chair, per representative of Pacific Hemisphere. The 5 million pesos is already a discounted offer of the bidder, sir.
So, final offer na yan. Hindi na tayo makakatawad.
Sir, let's put it this way. These items will be coming from France, and we know there's some war in that place, and we don't know if it will happen. So, since that has already been discounted, so for at this moment, we cannot commit any further discount.
Okay. So as I understand, that is already final offer. So let me clarify. The offer is include the shipment and taxes. So it's some sounds like it's a door to door. What is that? They will pick up the equipment or the component, the card to be repaired from the office, and they will deliver it here after the repair. Is that correct?
So, sir, sagot si
Mr.
sir.
Chair, I think this is not a repair. This is a new spare parts.
It is a repair. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. So again, TWG, considering the proposal, what is your recommendation?
Mr. Chair, we are recommending that the documents submitted be further evaluated. At the same time, considering that this is proposal is final, then we accept the proposal, Mr. Chair, for the meantime, subject to the evaluation by the technical working group for further evaluation of the submitted documents.
Okay. I have seen Arnel, nagbukas kanina ng camera. They have some comment. Arnel?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, do you have comment?
I concur with the recommendation of the technical working group to subject the proposal to further evaluation as to compliance with the terms of reference and other requirements by the end user, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. So shall you consider that as a motion?
Yes, Mr. Chair, that's a motion.
Okay. Any second motion?
Seconded, Mr. Chair.
Okay. With the recommendation of TWG, with motion and seconded, the bid proposal of Pacific Hemisphere is hereby accepted, and it will undergo bid evaluation. So to the bidder representative, the secretariat will be communicating with you on the next step for this project. Thank you. Okay, secretariat.
We will just communicate with you, with the user as to the outcome of the evaluation, and further communications will be.
Can we proceed to next agenda?
Next agenda is the pre-procurement for the project emergency replace of one unit 600 kW chiller at Iloilo Airport, an ABC of 13,470,127 pesos, 0.01 alpha and BMS.
Okay, so
Mr.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. I will be presenting the pre-procurement for the said project. Let me share my screen. Nakikita na po ba?
Okay.
Yes po.
Okay, good afternoon again. This is the pre-procurement for the emergency replacement of 1 unit 600 kilowatt chiller at Iloilo International Airport. Then ito po yung location ng papalitang chiller, yung chiller number 1. Then shown in the plan is the specification, which is the 600 kilowatt, 440 to 460 volts, 3-phase and 60 hertz. Terms of reference, under the general conditions are the administrative requirements, prohibitions, safety and sanitation requirements, and requirements for storage of equipment. Number 2, scope of work. The contractor shall provide all labor, materials, equipment, tools, technical supervision, and expertise for the emergency replacement of 1 unit 600 kilowatt chiller at Iloilo International Airport. Then the under scope of work is mobilization and demobilization. Number 1, dismantling works. 1.1, recovery and disposal of R407C refrigerant from 1 unit screw-type air-cooled water chiller. 1.2, disconnecting or unbolting of existing inlet and outlet chilled water pipes of the existing chiller, cladding, wirings, fittings, and other accessories. 1.3, dismantling and lifting of 1 unit screw-type air-cooled water chiller, including all the components but not limited to the compressors, evaporator, and condenser tubes, and 3-phases circuit breakers. Next, the contractor shall demolish, if there is a need, any obstructions such as hangers and supports for the removal of 1 unit air-cooled water chiller and mounting of the new chiller. All structural and architectural finishes damaged during the course of work shall be restored to its original condition. Number 2, supply, delivery, installation, testing, and commissioning of 1 unit 100 kilowatt screw-type air-cooled water chiller and other air conditioning system, complete with all mechanical, electrical, and control components. Then, supply and installation of 3 new pieces 200 ampere circuit breakers. Next, reconnect or bolt the existing inlet and outlet chilled water pipes, fittings, cladding, wirings, and other accessories into the 1 new unit chiller. 2.4, charging of additional refrigerant if needed. Then last, the contractor shall provide the additional pad if the existing concrete pad is not sufficient to conform the chiller manufacturer's requirement. Then shown in the screen are the technical specifications of the chiller. The chiller shall also be capable and must have the following specifications. Number 1, the chillers can function as a part load cooling system. Number 2, each compressor shall be electrically and mechanically isolated so that if a compressor fails or needs to be serviced, it can be serviced or removed from the chiller without disabling the other compressors and allowing the chiller to remain in operation with the other compressors online. Chiller shall have a minimum outlet temperature of 44.6 degree Fahrenheit and inlet temperature of 54 degrees Fahrenheit. The chiller shall be building management system ready and can communicate to SavicNet FX, which is the current BMS software of Iloilo International Airport. The chiller shall be able to integrate with the existing chilled water system of the Iloilo International Airport. Under the terms and conditions, number 1, the contractor shall include in the technical documents the brochures of the proposed chiller and other accessories, including all materials to be installed in the project. All chiller and other accessories to be installed without prior approval of Caap shall be at the risk of rejection. Number 2, in case of a different brand and model of chiller offered, the contractor shall include in the technical documents at least one certification of a previous completed project wherein they installed a different brand and model of chiller and was able to integrate with the existing chillers. Number 3, the project shall be completed within 180 calendar days. Number 4, all works must be done without disruption on the working condition of the working areas. Number 5, the contractor shall conduct factory test on the chiller witnessed by 2 Caap authorized representatives prior to the shipment. All cost for visa requirements, if needed, transportation, board, and lodging of the 2 Caap authorized representatives shall be for the account of the contractor. Number 6, the contractor shall conduct a training or seminar at Iloilo Airport on the operation and basic troubleshooting of the new chiller for 3 attendees or participants. Number 7, the contractor shall operate the chiller for a period of 6 months after commissioning. Number 8, the chiller warranty shall be for a period of 1 year after the acceptance of the project. The warranty shall include the compressors, other parts, and labor. The contractor shall conduct monthly preventive maintenance of the chiller and must submit monthly PM reports to Iloilo Airport during the warranty period. Then payment will be made as follows. The execution of all work shall be subject to the inspection and acceptance by the Caap authorized representatives. Then invitation to bid for emergency replacement of 1 unit 600 kilowatt chiller at Iloilo Airport. The ABC of the project is 13,470,127 pesos and 1 centavo. The project shall be completed within 180 calendar days. A complete set of bidding documents may be acquired by interested bidders from the given address, and upon payment of the applicable fee for the bidding documents pursuant to latest guidelines issued by the GPPB in the amount of 28,000 pesos, inclusive of 12% VAT. Under ITB clause of bid data sheet 5.3, for this purpose, contracts similar to the project shall be A, supply, delivery, and installation of chiller. Letter B, completed within the last 5 years prior to the deadline for the submission and receipt of bids. Under 7.1, subcontracting is not allowed. Then here are the list of the technical component envelope. These are the usual documents required that the bidder shall submit. Then, as I've mentioned earlier, under technical documents, letter J, the contractor shall include in the technical documents the brochures. Then in letter K, in case of a different brand and model of chiller offered, the contractor shall include at least one certification of a previous completed project wherein they installed a different brand and model of chiller and was able to integrate with the existing chillers. Then certificate of inspection is also required for this project. Then here are the financial documents. Financial component envelope. Then shown on the screen is the checklist of the technical and financial documents. That's all for my presentation. Thank you. The end user would like to recommend the posting of the project emergency replacement of 1 unit 600 kilowatt chiller at Iloilo International Airport through public bidding.
Okay. Thank you, Chris. Okay. My question is, the certification that you are requesting is one of the checklists.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay, sige. Thank you. So I think that is the one that I am looking for previously.
Yes, sir. Last time.
Okay. To TWG, do you have any question?
Sir, from the TWG, sir, we do not have further questions, and we are recommending as well, sir, for the posting of these projects, sir.
Okay. To the other members of the back, comments
Mr.
or
Chair.
motion?
Motion, Mr. Chair.
Okay, go ahead.
Move to adopt the recommendation of the TWG for the posting of this project.
Okay. Thank you, Elmer. Any
Seconded,
second?
Mr. Chair.
Okay. So the project for the emergency replacement of one unit 600 kilowatt chiller at Iloilo International Airport, uh, with the recommendation, with the request of end user, recommendation of TWG, and there is a motion and second motion. The BAC will adopt the the recommendation for the posting of the project. Secretariat will be the one to coordinate with the end user for other details for the posting of the project. Thank you. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Next agenda.
Next agenda is pre-procurement for the supply and delivery of air traffic light gun with an ABC of 3,720,000 pesos. End user is ANS.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon, everyone. I'll be presenting the project supply and delivery of air traffic light gun. Allow me to share my screen, Mr. Chair.
Okay. I'll proceed.
Mr. Chair, nakikita niyo po ba yung screen ka?
Yes po.
Okay. Again, good afternoon, everyone. Our project is entitled Supply and Delivery of Air Traffic Light Gun, the ABC of which is 3,720,000. The source of fund is the approved APP for the fiscal year 2022 under capital outlays for supply and delivery of air traffic light gun with APP code 0837. CBA number is 22-04-026260, dated April 4, 2022. And air traffic light guns are used by air traffic controllers to direct aircraft in case of radio communication failure or any emergency situation that does not permit the use of radio communication. Here is an example of the signals that are shown using air traffic light guns. If we see a green and we're in the ground, we are cleared for takeoff, and if it's on air, it's clear to land, and so on and so forth. Some of our airports are not equipped with light guns. Others request for backup light guns or temporary replacement of their units pending the repair of it at the ANS Technical Center. ANS intends to procure 6 sets of portable air traffic light guns for installation and replacement of defective units from various airports, and we are proposing public bidding. Shown on top is the old air traffic light gun, which is a heavy type and usually mounted on top of the ceiling with retractable wires. And shown below is the portable air traffic light gun. It's battery operated and it's more lighter. For the bidding documents, this is the bidding documents for the supply and delivery of air traffic light gun. Table of contents, the usual. invitation to bid. The Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines, through Caap Corporate Operating Budget for 2022, intends to apply the total sum of 3,720,000, being the approved budget for the contract ABC, to payment under contract for supply and delivery of air traffic light gun with Caap Project IG. The Caap now intends bids for the above procurement project. Delivery of goods is required within 90 calendar days. Bidders should have completed within 5 years from the date of submission the receipt of bids. A contract similar to the project, the description of an eligible bidder is contained in the bidding documents, particularly in Section 2 of the instruction to bidders. Bidding will be conducted through open competitive biddings procedure using a non-discretionary pass-fail criterion specified in 2016 revised implementing rules and regulations. Expected bidders may obtain further information from Back Secretariat, PA Road, and inspect the bidding documents at the address given below. Complete set of bidding documents may be acquired by interested bidders until the deadline submission bids from the given address and websites below, and upon payment of the applicable fee for the bidding documents pursuant to the latest guidelines in the amount of 5,000. The payment for the fees through email. Caap will hold a pre-bid conference, video conferencing, or video webcasting Google Meet application, which shall be open to prospective bidders who will coordinate with the Back Secretariat for the Google Meet link. Bids must be duly received by the Back Secretariat through manual submission at the office address indicated below. Caap reserves the right to reject and all bids declared failure bidding or not award the contract at any time prior to contract award in accordance with the sections 35.2 For further information, please air traffic light gun. The procurement project referred is composed of one lot. Funding information, the GOP through the source of funding as indicated below for fiscal year 2022 in the amount of 3,720,000. For the data sheets, for this purpose, contracts similar to the project shall be supply and delivery of aerodrome visual aids completed within 5 years prior to the deadline of the submission and receipt of bids. 7.1, no further instruction. 10.1, Caap memorandum dated 17/2018, disqualification of prospective bidders with pending case against the government. In the procurement activities of the Caap, all prospective bidders shall be required to submit the following. Number 1, certification under oath attesting that they have no pending cases against the government, in addition to the eligibility requirements for the bidders as prescribed under the revised implementing rules and regulations of 9184. And number 2, legal clearance to be used by the Caap enforcement and the legal service with respect to the non-pendency of any cases of prospective bidders against the authority. The bid security, number 14.1, the bid security shall be in the form of bid securing declaration or any forms following and amounts. The amount of not less than 74,400, which is equivalent to 2% of the ABC. Letter B, the amount of not less than 186,000, which is equivalent to 5% of the ABC. Number 15, each and every page thereof shall be initialed by the duly authorized representative of the bidder. Submitted eligibility, technical specification, documents shall be properly marked with index and must be sequentially paginated in an accurate order in the form of page 3 of 100 as an example. Pagination shall be sequential all throughout the documents inside the envelope. Bids not complying with the above instruction shall be automatically disqualified. Number two, bidder shall submit a copy of the first and second component of its bid. Number 19.3, partial bid is not allowed. 20.2, no license required. Number 4, the inspection and tests that will be conducted shall include but not limited to physical inspection and inventory or whatever additional tests that the technical inspection team may require. For the schedule of requirements, would require 90 calendar days. For the technical specification, listed are the technical specs of the portable air traffic light gun with the following minimum requirement. The beam spread should not be less than 1 degree nor greater than 3 degrees. Light color is red, green, and white. Light intensity of 16 candelas for colored lights. And it must have a light control for intermittent or continuous operations. Lamp is at least 100 watts, power at least 12 volts decad rechargeable battery. Must also have a charger or cradle station. Package shall also include a spare battery and a lamp for each unit. And the distribution shall be installed at Dumaguete, Osamis, and the rest will be stored at the AIMS Technical Center. Delivery is 90 calendar days with 1-year warranty. So for the checklist, this is all the same. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Ang ano ko lang is nakalagay kayo kasi doon 5 years supply for the last 5 years. So hindi kaya tayo malilimit doon ng bidder considering na may pandemic tayo for the last 2 years. Siyempre walang mga nag-supply ng
Yes.
ng 2 years. So,
Yes, Mr. Chair, that's why we have broadened the similar contract to supply and delivery of visual aids because we did not have purchase for with 50% or similar contract for this amount. So I remember the last time that we purchased is in 2017. So that's why we broadened the similar contract to supply and delivery of aerodrome visual aids.
for 5
And
years.
not specific to, yes sir, not specific to the air traffic light gun, sir.
Okay, sige. Okay, so what is the request of the end user?
Sir, we request that this project be posted at PhilJet for posting.
Okay. So TWG, and do you have any comment, query, or
Mr.
recommendation?
Chair, no further comments from or questions from technical working group. And we are also recommending, Mr. Chair, for the posting of this project for procurement for public bidding, sir.
Thank you, TWG. To the members of the BAC, do you have any comment, clarification, or motion?
Motion, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Motion to move to adopt the recommendation of the end user and the technical working group for the posting of this project and the mode of procurement and the public bidding. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Okay, any second the motion?
Seconded, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Arnel. With the request of end user and recommendation of TWG, with the motion and second the motion, the BAC will adopt the recommendation for the posting of the project for the supply and delivery of light gun. Thank you. Okay, so Secretariat, let's proceed to the next agenda.
Sir, the next agenda is the pre-bid conference for the project replacement of ILS 06 for Ninoy Aquino International Airport with bid number 22-009-05 Alpha with an ABC of 65,377,804 pesos and 93 centavos. End user ANS. Sir,
Okay,
we have
okay, go ahead.
two bidders in attendance here at the conference. We'll just let them in first po.
Okay, go ahead.
For only for project
ILS.
replacement of ILS.
Sir, uh, Chair, we now have the representative who will be participating this afternoon pre-bid. Sir, may we request first to introduce yourself and the company you are representing?
We'll start from you.
We'll start from you, sir.
Samuel Ilianto from Pacific Chemical Development Corporation.
Yes,
Please,
next.
Si Elmer Sambo po. Ako po nag-represent na High Builder. And ang partner namin po dito is Alice po.
Okay. Thank you, leaders. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the pre-bid conference for the project replacement of ILS for Ninoy Aquino International Airport. And this is an ANS project. We apologize because we have technical difficulty with our projector, but in any case, we will be flashing here in our laptop.
okay, TWG, may I request the Secretariat to repeat the names as well as the company being represented by the prospective bidders that are present now.
Good afternoon. I'm Alexander Lianto from Pacific Chemical Development Corporation.
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Ian Estigliore of Philcox.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Richie Pescador from Philcox.
Thank you.
Good afternoon po. Si Elmer Sambo po to ng High Builders.
And Secretariat, do we have other prospective bidders online?
No,
Meron pa ba?
none, sir.
Good afternoon. Malcolm Ong from Evercon Builders. Thank you.
Okay, so TWG, proceed with the presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon, bidders.
Welcome to the pre-bid conference for the project replacement of ILS 06 for the Ninoy Aquino International Airport. This is bid under bid number 22-009-05 Alpha. For this pre-bid presentation, we'll be discussing about the outline, the project background and duration, the invitation to bid, the instruction to bidders with corresponding bid data sheet, the general conditions of the contract with the corresponding SEC, the checklist, and then later on the discussion or any clarification for the project. For the project background and duration, this project shall replace the non-operational localizer system of runway 06 at Ninoy Aquino International Airport, which was damaged in an accident with an air ambulance in March 2020. The scope of the project shall include the installation of new ILS system composed of localizer and glide path for runway 06, including an IDME, system monitoring and control equipment, shelter system, spare parts, test equipment, tools, site works, training, and then testing. The project duration is 365 calendar days. For the invitation to bid, CAAP through the Multi-Year Budget Authority under fiscal year 2022 intends to apply the sum of 65,377,804 pesos and 93 centavos, being the ABC to payments under this contract replacement of ILS for Ninoy Aquino International Airport. Bids in excess of the ABC shall be automatically rejected at bid opening. The Caap now invites bids for the supply, delivery, installation, training, and commissioning flight check of ILS 06 and its ancillaries. Bidders should refer to Section 6 of the Schedule of Requirements and Section 7 of the Technical Specifications for the above procurement project. Delivery of goods is required within the contract duration of 365 calendar days, and that the bidder shall provide proof that the offered equipment have been installed in international airports from 3 different countries other than the country of origin where the offered equipment is manufactured. And the OEM of the offered ILS system or equipment shall have been in the manufacturing business of instrument landing system equipment for at least the last 10 years. The description of an eligible bidder is contained in the bidding documents, particularly in Section 2. Bidding will be conducted through open competitive bidding procedure using a non-discretionary pass-fail criterion as specified in the 2016 revised IRR of RA 9184. And for this bidding is restricted to Filipino citizens, sole proprietorship, partnerships, or organizations with at least 60% interest or outstanding capital stock belonging to citizens of the Philippines and to citizens or organizations of a country and laws, regulations of which grant similar rights or privileges to Filipino citizens pursuant to RA 5183. Prospective bidders may obtain further information from Caap and inspect the bidding documents at the address given during 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the back office, Caap Mira Road, Pasay City, and the complete set of bidding documents may be acquired until the 14th of June 2020 from Caap back office upon payment of the applicable fee for the bidding documents pursuant to the latest guidelines issued by the GPPB in the amount of 50,000 plus the 12% VAT. The Caap allows the bidder to present its proof and payment for the fees presenting the official receipt. The bidding document may also be downloaded free of charge from the website of the PhilJeps and the Caap, provided that bidders shall pay the applicable fee for the bidding documents not later than the submission of their bids. Bids must be duly received by the BAC Secretariat through manual submission at the office address given on or before the 14th of June 2022 at 2 p.m. Late bids shall not be accepted, and all bids must be accompanied by a bid security in any of the acceptable forms and in the amount stated in ITB Clause 14. Bid opening shall be on the 14th of June 2022 at 2 p.m. at CAAP back office and or via online conference through Google Meet, and bids will be opened in the presence of the bidders' representatives who choose to attend the activity. The CAAP reserves the right to reject any and all bids or declare a failure of bidding or not award the contract at any time prior to contract award in accordance with Section 35.6 and 41 of the 2016 revised IRR of RA 9184 without thereby incurring any liability to the affected bidder or bidders. For further information, you may refer to Engineer Leandro, sorry for that, correction, Leandro Varquez, the overall head back secretariat at CAP with a given telephone number. For the ITB, or instruction to bidders with the corresponding BDS, on the left side is the instruction to bidders, and on the right is the requirements under the bid data sheet. So we'll be discussing all in ITBs with the corresponding bid data sheet. For Section 3, under bidding requirements, bid bulletins, if applicable, are required to be submitted and shall form part of the bidder's technical documents. Bids not complying with the above instructions shall be disqualified. Under Section 5.3, for this purpose, contracts similar to the project shall be supply, delivery, installation, testing, and commissioning of ILS and or DVOR within the last 10 years. Completed within last 10 years prior to the deadline for the submission and receipt of bids. Under Section 7, specifically for Section 7.1, subcontracting of site preparation and incidental electrical works alone is allowed. Construction of the electrical civil works component shall be done by a company with a valid PCAV of at least small B size range, C or D license category in general engineering or general building and electrical or navigational aids works classification. Under Section 10, specifically for Section 10.1, bid data sheet requirement for 10.1A, letter A requirement is per Caap memorandum dated September 2018. All bidders or all prospective bidders shall be required to submit the following. Number one, a certification under oath attesting that they have no pending case or cases against the government, in addition to the eligibility requirements for bidders as prescribed under the 2016 revised IRR of RA 9184. And number two, the legal clearance to be issued by the Caap Enforcement and Legal Service with respect to the non-pendency of any cases of prospective bidders against the authority. Letter B requirement, the accomplished revised Annex A, ITB 10.1. For applicable items, the bidder shall indicate in the technical component on a separate sheet using revised Annex A ITB 10.1 form the brand, type, and or model, version, and quantities unit of each of the proposed equipment or subsystems and ancillaries. This document shall be signed by the bidder's authorized representative, and the bid of quantities with corresponding price schedules in the accomplished financial form shall be consistent with and reference to all plans, designs, and layouts submitted in the technical bid proposal. Letter C requirement, design requirements and certificate of site inspection. Design requirements as specified in Section 8, checklist of technical and financial documents, and site inspection certificate shall be part of the bid submission. Bidder shall coordinate with the ANS on their schedule of site inspection. Bidder shall propose the schedule and send the details of their visiting personnel to ANS, and a certificate of site inspection form is attached in this document for reference and guidance. Under C.1, a copy of the company ID of the person who conducted the site inspection, the copy of the airport or facility visitor's logbook appearing the names and signatures of inspectors. CE.3, picture of the proposed site, including the personnel who conducted the site inspection together with the ANS facility in charge or his or her duly authorized representative. Please take note that bids not complying with the above instructions shall be disqualified. As a reference, this is the Annex A ITB 10.1 form mentioned in the previous bid data sheet, and also an illustration of the or example of the certificate of site inspection, and which is also included in the bidding document. Under Section 12 on bid prices, the price of the goods shall be quoted DDP at respective sites defined in Section 6 of the Schedule of Requirements. For Section 12.1A IV, Roman numeral 4, for incidental services for goods offered from within the Philippines include but are not limited to the following. Number 1, all expenses for the processing of permits and licenses shall be part of the price schedule of the equipment. Number 2, provision and installation of cables, grounding, surge protection, and other additional or auxiliary electrical adapter, signal converters, connectors, components, fixtures, interface, fittings and mounting kits, cable management, etc. for the different equipment to meet operational and functional requirements. Prices for these incidentals shall be incorporated to the equipment listed in the BOQ of the Schedule of Requirements to which it is primarily related. Number 3, licenses or importation licenses and permits. Number 4, civil electrical engineering services and installation cost. Number 5, training. Number 6, project management services, and lastly, as-built drawings and as-built plans and drawings. Under Section 12.1B, Roman numeral 2, incidental services, also for goods offered from abroad, shall include but are not limited to the following. Number 1, provision and installation of cables, grounding, surge protection, and other additional or auxiliary electrical adapter, signal converters, connectors, components, fixtures, interface, fittings, cable management, etc. for the different equipment to meet operational and functional requirements. Prices for these incidentals shall be incorporated to the equipment listed in the BOQ of the Schedule of Requirements to which it is primarily related. Number 2, export licenses and permits. Number 3, engineering services required for design and configurations. And number 4, equipment installation cost. Number 5, FAT or training and related documents. Number 6, related equipment tests. Number 7, site technical training to be conducted by certified or authorized technical personnel from the OEM. And number 8, installation, operational, maintenance, and other forms of manuals, system and circuit diagrams, equipment, as-built plans and drawings. Under Section 14.1, under bid security, the bid security shall be in the form of bid securing declaration or any of the following forms and amounts. The amount of not less than 2% of ABC if the bid security is in cash, cashier's or manager's check, bank draft or guarantee, or irrevocable letter of credit, or letter B, the amount of not less than 5% of ABC if bid security is in surety bond. Next, for Section 15 on sealing and marking of bids. So we'll be requiring only one copy of the first and the second components of the bid. And specifically under bid data sheet number 15 or Section 15, each and every page thereof shall be initialed or signed by the duly authorized representatives of the bidder, and submitted eligibility, technical, and financial documents shall be properly marked and with index tabs or ear tabs that must be sequentially paginated in an accurate order in the form of uh, such as page 3 of 100. The page number of the last page of the document shall be per envelope basis, and the pagination should be sequential based on the entire span of the whole documents inside the envelope. The number two, each bidder shall submit only one original copy of the first and the second components of its bid, and uh, bids not complying with the above instructions shall be automatically disqualified. To illustrate how the documents will be organized, on flash on screen is the first and the second envelopes. Also flash on the screen is an illustration of the table of contents and uh, index tabs and pagination examples. Under 16.1 for deadline for submission of bids, bids must be duly received by the back secretariat through manual submission. The address for submission of bids is the back office at Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines, Old Mayor Road, Pasay City. Under detailed evaluation and comparison of bids, 19.3, partial bid is not allowed. The goods are grouped in a single lot, and the lot shall not be divided into sublots for the purpose of bidding, evaluation, and contract award. For section 21.1, letter A, the contractor shall be responsible for securing all necessary permits, such as the electrical or civil works permits, permit to import, NTC, security pass, other local permits, etc., from respective offices that may be necessary for the installation of the equipment at site. The cost of acquiring such permits, including its processing, shall be borne by the contractor. Letter B, additional contract documents relevant to the project required by the Caap during contract agreement signing. Number 1 is the project implementation schedule. Number 2 is the cash flow by quarter. Under letter C, the following documents shall form part of the contract and shall be submitted together with the technical proposal during the bidding. So the four items are the following documents are system interconnection diagram, including interconnection diagram of interlock with the existing ILS, which shall be signed and sealed by the PECE. Number 2, the siting and location design plan for the localizer, glide path, and cable layout plan. These all documents shall also be signed and sealed by the PECE. Number 3, power, electrical, and grounding, transformers and cages, manholes, cabling system design plan, including electrical system single line diagram, which shall also be signed and sealed by the professional electrical engineer. Number 4, RCMS interconnection plan, which shall include the interconnection diagram of interlock with the existing ILS, signed and sealed by a PECE. Number 5, for project work schedule plan for 365 calendar days. Number 6, original latest versions of OEM equipment. Technical characteristics, specification, and manuals, and brochures of proposed products. Copy of the ERC certificate or clear photocopy of PECE or PEE license of the signing PECE or PEE, and copy of PTR of the signing PECE and PEE. Next is number 9. Certificate of good standing from accredited professional organization shall be submitted by designing PECE and PEE. Number 10. Signed compliance statement to relevant sections of the IKO Annex 10, Volume 1, Radio Navigational Aids. Number 11. Item 1.5 of Section 7, Technical Specifications, the certificate of site inspection as prescribed in the bid data sheet. In addition to the required documents, the following documents shall be submitted during the post-qualification stage. Number 1, certificate of exclusive or authorized distributorship issued by the OEM of supplied equipment. And number 2, valid ISO 9001 and 14001 certificates or its internationally recognized equivalent of company and product. For the general conditions, under scope of contract, specifically for delivery and documents, for purposes of this clause, the procuring entity's representative at the project site is Engineer Joy N. Hermosilia, the facility in charge of Manila CNS facility, or his authorized representative at site defined in Section 6. Also, under incidental services, additional requirement, letter F, as also mentioned in the previous bid data sheet, for specific for incidental services for goods offered from within the Philippines, and letter G, incidental services for goods offered from abroad. Under Section 2.2, pertaining to advance payment and terms of payment, this is a turnkey project. Payment will be after issuance of project completion certification of Caap. Under Section 4 of the general conditions, for inspections and tests, the inspections and tests that will be conducted are: letter A, verification, inspection of wireless equipment and conformity to contract specification. Letter B, verification or inspection of manhole construction, power cable within conduits laying, trenching, and backfilling. Letter C, periodic inspections at site, the factory acceptance test, commissioning, and site acceptance test. Under Section 5, warranty, the contractor, supplier shall warrant the entire equipment or assemblies, software and related integration or site works for 1 year defect liability period for parts and service, plus another year of warranty period for parts and service. Next to be discussed is the checklist of documents. The checklist is also included in the bidding document. So under technical component envelope, which shall contain the legal, the technical, and the financial document. For the legal document, a valid PhilJEPS registration of platinum membership. Please include all the pages, or the or a registration certificate from SEC, a mayor's business permit, and the tax clearance. For the technical documents, statement of the bidder of all its ongoing government and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started, if any, whether similar or not similar in nature and complexity of the contract to be bid, and the LCC similar to the contract to be bid. The original copy of bid security or a notarized bid securing declaration, and as required documents under design requirements per BDS 21.1C, the certification of site inspection issued by the Manila CNS facility in charge, Engineer Joy N. Hermosilia, and bid bulletin if applicable. Next is the Accomplished Annex A, ITB 10.1 form, and the OSS. To include under the technical documents is the certification under oath that the bidder has no pending case against the government, and the legal clearance to be issued by the Caap ELS. For the financial documents for under Class A, documents the supplier's audited financial statements, the prospective bidder's computation of the NFCC or a CLC, and if applicable, a duly signed joint venture agreement in case the joint venture is already in existence, or a duly notarized statement from all the potential joint ventures stating that they will enter into the and abide by the provisions of the JBA in the instance that the bid is successful, and other documentary requirements under RA 9184. For the financial component envelope, we expect to see the original and duly signed and accomplished financial bid form, and the original duly signed and accomplished price schedules. The price schedules may be goods from offered from within the Philippines or goods from offered from abroad, and all forms may be downloaded from the GPPB website with the given web link. Thank you, Mr. Chair. The presentation is complete. We may now open the floor for discussion or any clarification regarding the project.
Okay, TWG. So you may entertain now question from the bidder's representative.
I have a question under technical specs 2.6.3.1. It says there that the wireless shall be equipped with fiber optic link via wireless radio link at Manila radar. Is the wireless radio link existing or shall be provided by a bidder?
Good afternoon. Mr. Chair, may I answer the query?
Go ahead, thank you, sir.
With regards to your question for the item 2.6.3.1, yes, sir, the said fiber optic link is already existing, and it will be just subject for your configuration so that it would transmit uh, to Manila Control Tower.
Sir, pardon, can you repeat the answer, sir? The line is being cut.
Your question about the wireless radio link is already present. That is connected at Manila Radar and Manila Control Tower.
Okay. So can we request for interconnection diagrams of the existing wireless link so we will able to know if our protocols will able to to connect with the existing wireless link? I believe they are using the NEC DMR 2500. Correct if I'm wrong, sir.
Yes, that's correct, sir. We have the equipment DMR 2500 by NEC. So what you are asking is for the diagram. Is that
Diagram or data sheet so we can provide it to our OEM so they will able to determine if our protocols will able to communicate with the existing wireless radio ring.
Okay, sir. I think we have a copy of the diagrams under our manual, so we can provide you what what is your request.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Further,
Okay.
drawing says, drawing E1 to 14. We'd like to the manual to be constructed by the prospective authorities from manhole 6 to 38 only, and not from manhole 1 to 38. Total of 36 manholes only.
What? Excuse me. What is your concern, sir, about the manholes?
Would like to confirm the quantity of the manholes to be constructed by the prospective bidders. Under schedule of requirements under 1.10, it says 36 manholes, but the drawing says otherwise. So would like to know if really the 36 manholes are the one to be constructed by the bidders. From manhole 6 to manhole 38 only.
Maybe, sir, you are referring to the drawing. Are you referring to the
Yes,
drawing?
yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Uh, um, um, I don't have the drawing with me, so maybe, sir, you can ask it in writing so that we can answer you properly.
Noted.
Yes, sir.
Another thing, sir, under schedule requirements 1.2.3, it says that the bidder are required to supply the 15 kVA type transformer. It's also specified in the drawing under drawing E13. There's no transformer cage in the drawing, but the technical specs 5.6 again says otherwise.
Yes, sir. Actually, we need a transformer cage for the transformers because it is for the protection.
Okay, sir. We will also put this in writing and submit
Yes,
it to
sir.
you. Yeah.
Yes, sir. It is much better so that we can answer you properly.
Okay, sir. Thank you. That's all.
Okay, thank you.
Do you have other clarifications from other viewers?
Sir, one more thing, sir. It says in the bid data sheet, the last item, you are requiring the letter of or exclusive distributorship on the post qualification stage and not from possibility.
Yes, Mr. Chair. We need the two documents under this section to be submitted only in the post-qualification stage. To reduce the volume of documents submitted during the opening of bids, these two documents may be submitted during the post-qualification. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
There is none, so you still have like 10 working. I mean, you may still submit your queries or verifications 10 days before the opening of. Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, Mr.
Uh,
Chairman.
okay, there is a prospective bidder online. So do you have some query, question?
Good afternoon. I'm Malcolm from Evercon Builders. May I know what is the allowable working hour at NAIA's site? I understand this is now a busy airport, and there will be a cutting of pavement at runway 1331. What will be the allowable working hour for this? And do they allow open trench on the runway?
End user, please answer.
Mr. Chair, may I allow to answer?
Go ahead, go ahead.
Mr. Chair, for the time, we would like to recommend that we shall coordinate with MIA Airport Authority for the permission because they have the operational hours and it depends on the number of flights. And usually, they allow for the work to start uh, after the last flight uh, is um, is made. That's the answer, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so I suggest that a written query will be submitted, and then we'll reply after our coordination with the AIA. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Sir, we have a question here in the conference room po, from the bidder who is here in the conference room. Sir,
Okay.
Kaya, Mr. Chairman, concern lang namin doon sa eligibility requirements. Siguro dapat yung authorized authority coming from the bidder, that is the authorized distributor, should be submitted as part of the eligibility document and not post-mortem, not after. Because the rationale here, you will know right away if the bidder is authorized to distribute the ILS equipment of the OEM. Secondly, you also require doon sa ITB Clause 21, yung System Interconnection Design Diagram should be submitted during the submission of the technical proposal and not after. I think the rationale here is that should be the same. Kung nire-require mo yung submission ng mga diagram, technical proposal, more so, you should be requiring the bidder to submit a statement that they are authorized to distribute the product. Thank you.
Is that a question or recommendation?
Well, it is a recommendation at the same time observation. Because
Okay.
lagi naman, when we submit, it must be not post-mortem, it should be beforehand.
Okay, that is noted. However, the end user has its own decision, and he already given the requirement. So we suggest that the proponent will comply with the requirement.
With all due respect, Mr. Chairman, we see the rationale behind that.
It's either you have the authority or you do not.
If I may, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Just to respond to the option of Mr. Johnny Ramis, Mr. Chair, considering that the bid documents were already approved by the BAC, and thank thank Mr. Ramos for providing us observation, but considering that these documents already approved by the BAC, and the requirement as indicated in the BAC, in the bid documents, indicates that these requirements will be submitted during post-qualification, then such requirement will remain, and are items that will be complied by the Mr. Chair. Are you okay with that, Sir Johnny?
I'm okay with that. Attorney.
Thank you. Thank you, Sir Johnny.
Thank you all.
I think, Mr. Chair, we can now close this item, and we are reminding, Mr. Chair, all our prospective leaders still have um, 10 calendar days before the opening of the bids to submit the queries or clarification in order for the working group as well as the end user to prepare the reply to whatever queries or clarification they do have. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. So can we proceed to the next agenda?
The next agenda, Mr. Chair, is also the pre-procurement, no, the pre-bidding conference for the project supply and delivery of high gain bidirectional VHF antenna for remote center air to ground RCAG and route transmitter amounting to 4,817,975 pesos, an ANS project. So for this project, Mr. Chair, we do not have prospective bidders who signify their intention to participate for today's pre. Oh no, for physical we do not have, but we have online prospective bidders, Mr. Chair. May I
Okay.
request back secretariat to please admit, please, for you with the permission of the chairman, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
To the bidders online, for records purposes, kindly state your name and the company you represent, please.
Hello, good afternoon.
Go ahead, sir.
Yes, I'm JP Ardiliano from OneCommerce International Corporation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I think yun lang po, Mr. Chair, ang prospective bidder natin. John, welcome to the pre-bid conference and the technical, with the permission of the chair, can we proceed with the presentation, sir, of the bid document, sir?
Okay, Induce TWG proceed with the presentation.
Thank you, sir,
Th-
Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And once again, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Plebid Conference for the project Supply and Delivery of High Gain Bidirectional VHF Antenna for RCAG and Route Transmitter under bid number 22-011-05 Alpha. So for the outline of the presentation, I'm going to present the invitation to bid, followed by the instruction to bidders with the corresponding BDS, then the general conditions of the contract with the corresponding special conditions of the contract, the checklist, and lastly, we are going to open the floor for discussion or any clarifications. So for the invitation to bid, the Caap, through the Caap Corporate Operating Budget for fiscal year 2022, intends to apply the total sum of 4 million, rather, 4,817,975 pesos, being the approved budget for the contract, to payments under the contract for supply and delivery of high gain bidirectional VHF antenna for ARCAG en route transmitter with CAP project ID 22-011-05 Alpha. So table shows the deliverables for this project. Bids received in excess of the ABC shall be automatically rejected at bid opening. The CAP now invites bids for the above project. The delivery of goods is required within 90 calendar days. So bidders should have completed within 5 years from the date of submission and receipt of bids a contract similar to the project. So the description of an eligible bidder is contained in the bidding documents found in section 2 under the instruction to bidders. Bidding will be conducted through open competitive bidding procedures using a non-discretionary pass-fail criterion as specified in the 2016 revised IRR of RA 9184. Bidding is restricted to Filipino citizens or sole proprietorships, partnerships, or organizations with at least 60% interest or outstanding capital stock belonging to citizens of the Philippines and to citizens or organizations of a country, the laws or regulations of which grant similar rights or privileges to Filipino citizens pursuant to RA 5183. The prospective bidders will obtain further information from CAP PAC Secretariat and inspect the bidding documents at the address given during 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. from Monday to Friday, except declared holidays, weekends, and suspension of work at the back office, Caap, May Road, Pasay City. Complete set of bidding documents may be acquired since May 24 to June 14, 2022 from Caap back office, May Road, Pasay City, and upon payment of the applicable fee for the bidding documents pursuant to the latest guidelines issued by the JPPB in the amount of 5,000 pesos plus the 12%. But CAP allows the bidder to present its proof of payment for the fees through email. Bids must be duly received by the PAC Secretariat through manual submission at the office address given on or before the 14th of June 2022 at 2 p.m. So late bids shall not be accepted. All bids must be accompanied by a bid security in any of the acceptable forms and in the amount stated in ITB Clause 14. Bid opening shall be on the 14th of June 2022 at 2 p.m. at CAP back office and or via online conference through Google Meet. Bids will be open in the presence of the bidders' representatives who choose to attend the activity. So CAP reserves the right to reject any and all bids, declare a failure of bidding, or not award the contract at any time prior to contract award in accordance with Section 35.6 and 41 of the 2016 revised IRR of RA 9184, without thereby incurring any liability to the affected bidder or bidders. For further information, please refer to Engineer Leandro. Uh, Allow me to correct that. It's Leandro R. Marquez, overall Head PAC Secretariat, Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines. And you may visit the following website shown on the screen for downloading the bidding documents.
No, Rick, kindly correct your name.
Yes, sir. All right. So I guess I had the name corrected already. So I'll continue my presentation, sir. So proceeding to the instruction to bidders with corresponding BDS. So I'll be jumping on to the first entry for the bid datasheet with corresponding clause to the instruction to bidders. So under clause 5.3, for this purpose, a contract similar to the project shall be A, supply and delivery of radio communications equipment or system, and B, completed within 5 years prior to the deadline for the submission and receipt of bids. Under subcontracts, there is no further instructions. Under documents comprising the bid eligibility and technical components, so certificate from manufacturer or principal as authorized distributor of the high gain wave shift antenna being offered will be required. Now, also per Caap memorandum dated September 17, 2018, regarding the disqualification of prospective bidders with pending case against the government in the procurement activities of Caap, all prospective bidders shall be required to submit the following. So, one, a certification under oath attesting that they have no pending case or cases against the government, in addition to the eligibility requirements for bidders as prescribed under the revised IRR of RA 9184, and two, legal clearance to be issued by the Caap ELS with respect to the non-pendency of any cases of prospective bidders against the authority. Under the bid prices, the price of the goods shall be quoted DDP, Caap Road Pasig City, or the applicable international commercial terms or Inc. terms for this product. Under the bid security shall be in the form of a bid security declaration or any of the following forms and amounts. So A, the amount of not less than 96,359 pesos and 50 centavos, which is equivalent to 2% of the ABC, if bid security is in cash, cashier's or manager's check, backdraft, or guarantee or irrevocable letter of credit. Or B, the amount of not less than 240,898 pesos and 75 centavos, which is equivalent to 5% of the ABC if bid security is in surety bond. For the sealing and marking of bids, each and every page thereof shall be initialed by the duly authorized representative or representatives of the bidder. Submitted eligibility, technical, and financial documents shall be properly marked with index tabs or ear tabs and must be sequentially paginated in accurate order in the form of like page 3 of 100, for example. So pagination shall be sequential all throughout the documents inside the envelope. So bids not complying with the above instructions shall be automatically disqualified. And lastly, each bidder shall submit one copy of the first and second components of its bid. The slide shows an illustration of how the documents shall be organized accordingly using table of contents, index tabs, and the pagination and signing of the pages. Under the detailed evaluation and comparison of bids, clause 19.3, the partial bid is not allowed. So the goods are grouped in a single lot, and the lot shall not be divided into sublots for the purpose of bidding, evaluation, and contract award. For post-qualification, there is no license required. Now, continuing on to the general conditions of the contract with corresponding SCC. Under the scope of the contract, further on the delivery and documents for the purpose of this clause, the procuring entity's representative at the project site is Ms. Maria Miraflor V. Andaya. For the incidental services, the supplier is required to provide all of the following services, including additional services, if any, specified in Section 6, Schedule of Requirements. So A, the performance or supervision of on-site assembly and or startup of the supplied goods. B, furnishing of a detailed operations and maintenance manual for each appropriate unit of the supplied goods. C, performance or supervision or maintenance and or repair of the supplied goods for a period of time agreed by the parties, provided that this service shall not relieve the supplier from any warranty obligations under this contract. And D, training of the procuring entity's personnel at the supplier's plant and or site in assembly, startup, operation, maintenance, and or repair of the supplied goods. The contract price for the goods shall include the prices charged by the supplier for incidental services and shall not exceed the prevailing rates charged to other parties by the supplier for similar services. For the spare parts, the supplier is required to provide all of the following materials, notifications, and information pertaining to spare parts manufactured or distributed by the supplier. So A, such spare parts as the procuring entity may elect to purchase from the supplier, provided that this election shall not relieve the supplier of any warranty obligations under this contract. And B, in the event of termination of production of these spare parts, advance notification to the procuring entity of the pending termination in sufficient time to permit the procuring entity to procure needed requirements, and following such termination, furnishing at no cost the procuring entity the blueprints, drawings, and specifications of the spare parts if requested. So the spare parts are rather and other components required are listed in Section 6, and the costs thereof are included in the contract price. The supplier shall carry sufficient inventories to assure X stock supply of consumable spare parts or components of the goods for a period of 3 years. So spare parts are or components shall be supplied as promptly as possible, but in any case within 3 months of placing the order. Under the inspection and tests, the inspections and tests that will be conducted shall include, but not limited to, physical inspection and inventory, or whatever additional tests that the technical inspection team may require. For the schedule of requirements, so the delivery schedule expressed as weeks or months stipulates hereafter a delivery date, which is the date of delivery to the project site. So basically, we have one item consists or uh, com- composed of the four dipole heavy duty high gain antenna with mounting hardware, including the clamps or the mounting hardware, expected to be delivered within 90 calendar days. Shown on the screen are the technical specifications with the corresponding statement of compliance, which will be required from the bidder to provide if they comply to the frequency range, nominal gain, connector, polarization, impedance, horizontal beam width, vertical beam width, average power input, lighting protection, electrical tilt, front to back ratio, base pipe, radiating element material, input BSWR, and also for the mounting hardware, the carbon steel hot tip galvanized clamp, the pipe that will be used, the clamp 006C, then 2 pieces of clamp for every antenna. That refers to the quantity of the clamp. And then the delivery period of 90 calendar days and the 1 year warranty period. For the checklist that we expect to see from the bidder under Class A documents, for the legal documents, the valid PhilJEPS registration certificate, platinum membership, or the registration certificate from SEC, DTI or sole proprietorship, or CDA for cooperatives or its equivalent document, and the mayor's or business permit issued by the city or municipality where the principal place of business of the prospective bidder is located, or the equivalent document for exclusive economic zones or areas, and tax clearance per EO number 398, series of 2005. Under the technical documents, the statement of the prospective bidder of all its ongoing government and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started, if any, whether similar or not similar in nature and complexity to the contract to be bid, and the statement of the bidder's single largest completed contract, SLCC, similar to the contract to be bid, except under conditions provided for in sections 23.4.1.3 and 23.4.2.4 of the 2016 revised IRR of RA 9184 within the relevant period as provided in the bidding documents and the original copy of the bid security. Okay. If in the form of a surety bond, submit also a certification issued by the Insurance Commission or original copy of notarized bid securing declaration. And conformity with the technical specifications, which may include production delivery schedule, manpower requirements, and or after sales parts if applicable. And the OSS, and if applicable, the original notarized secretary's certificate in case of a corporation, partnership, or cooperative, or original special power of attorney of all members of the joint venture, giving full power and authority to his officer to sign the OSS and do acts to represent the bidder. Then the certificate from manufacturer as principal as authorized distributor of high gain VHF antenna offered, the legal clearance to be issued by Caap ELS, certification under oath attesting that they have no pending case or cases against the government, in addition to the eligibility requirements for bidders as prescribed under the revised IRR of RA 9184. And under the financial documents, the supplier's audited financial statements showing, among others, the supplier's total and current assets and liabilities stamp received by the BIR or its duly accredited and authorized institutions for the preceding calendar year, which should not be earlier than 2 years from the date of bid submission, and the prospective bidder's NFCC or a committed line of credit from a universal or commercial bank in lieu of its NFCC computation. For the Class B documents, still under the financial documents, uh, or rather, Class B documents apart from the Class A documents. So if applicable, a duly signed joint venture agreement in case the joint venture is already in existence, or duly notarized statements from all the potential joint venture partners stating that they will enter into and abide by the provisions of the JVA in the instance that the bid is successful. Then for other documentary requirements under RA 9184 as applicable, for foreign bidders claiming for reason for their country's extension of reciprocal rights to Filipinos, certification from the relevant government office of their country stating that Filipinos are allowed to participate in government procurement activities for the same item or product. Then certification from the DTI, excuse me, if the bidder claims preference as domestic bidder or domestic entity. And then lastly, for the financial component envelope, we expect to see the original of duly signed and accomplished financial bid form and the original of duly signed and accomplished price schedules, which could contain the price schedule for goods offered from within the Philippines or the price schedule for the goods offered from abroad. And these forms are or can be downloaded from the website shown on the slide. And we are now opening the floor for any clarification or questions that our prospective bidder or bidders have after this presentation, sir.
Okay, Mr. Ordilano, you have question?
Sir Arnold, as of now, no queries from our end. We'll send a letter of clarification in case an issue or concern was raised with regards to the review of the bid docs. But for now, we're okay.
Okay, thank you. Secretariat, could you mention how long or how many days you are given the to submit the clarification? Is that 3 days?
Mr. Chair, the Bids and Awards Committee will accept written query or clarification from prospective bidders 10 days before the opening of bids, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you, TWD. Tony. Take note of that, Mr. Ordinario. Ano? You should submit your query within that given time. Okay, we have only one prospective bidder, so I think.
Noted, Sir Arnold.
Okay, uh, we have no more. I think we have only one prospective bidder, so I think we have no more question. So any further agenda or any more agenda or
Mr. Chair, none from the technical working group.
And from the Secretariat, po, sir.
okay, so how about the members of the BAC?
None on my side, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so with that, The meeting is now adjourned, and thank you for the participation of everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you
po.
very much.
Pasensya na po. Medyo nag po yung IT natin po ay yung sa equipment lang po natin.